everybody! Hello again! I'm back for another Wednesday science lesson, and this is to pick up right where we left off in our science lesson when we were talking about the human body and the bones. Remember that we saw all of this in the previous video. And now we're going to move on to actually doing some work related to science and related to all of this bone stuff. So we were left off here. Okay, now I know you already did this in your notebook, and you also have an activity about it last week that I sent you a video, and you should have seen it because it identified all the parts that you're looking at here, if not maybe a couple of more. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's see this little balloon here. I want you to do some research about stuff. So ask your parents if you can use the internet, or ask them if they might know this information or help you find it. The first thing that I want you to do is this activity. It says, I wonder, which is the bone that people break most often and why? Wow, that's an interesting question. Have you guys ever broken bones? I hope not. I myself have only had a micro fracture, never a real fracture. Thank God, yeah. No, I'm very lucky. It must be really painful to break bones, so we don't want any of you to break bones ever, ever, ever. So what we're going to do is find out more about how bones break and how bones mend themselves. But before we do that, let's go and check this box at the bottom right corner of page number 5. Young chicks have a soft breastbone. It hardens with calcium as the chick gets older. Inside a young chicken, you can see the soft, flexible breastbone. Now, another thing that we need to know. Your knuckles crack because pulling on them quickly makes a vacuum in the joints. Fluid rushes into the spaces, making a popping sound, sort of similar to when you pop a balloon, something like that. Now, things to do. This is what we're going to do. How many bones can you name? And we already did this activity, and we already labeled them on a diagram and on a printable worksheet you may have done last week. So we're going to skip that because we already did that. But what we're going to do is a little worksheet, okay? We're going to find out. I already gave you one task. The first task that you have to do is find out which is the bone that people break most often and why they break it so often. And then we're going to find out if our skeletons grow when we do. You're going to start measuring lengths accurately, and you're going to decide if evidence supports your idea. So in science, we have a lot of theories of things, like what we think. We've already know the answer to this first one. But when we have evidence, we can support what we think. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a little tiny experiment that involves measuring. Oh, are you excited? So what you're going to need is a ruler or a meter or something that you can use to measure. You can ask your parents for help if they can assist you in getting something to help you measure. Now, let's see this experiment. Class 4 want to see if bones get bigger as we grow. They have decided to measure bones on themselves. Some students from class 3 and class 5, their teacher and their assistant. They are not sure how much evidence to collect. Here are some of the suggestions. Okay, so let's see. Are all bones the same size? Why is my mother taller than me? Our bones are different lengths. Think of your finger and think of your leg. So my finger, my hands, actually, even in my hands, I have fingers that are smaller than other fingers, okay? My hand might be bigger than your hand. Your dad's hand might be bigger than yours, and mine, actually. As we grow, our bones grow as well. Let's measure some to prove that. That's what's called evidence. So when we think that our bones grow as we grow, how do we decide if that's true? How do we prove that that's true? Well, you guys right now are 9 years old. in a few months, you'll be 10 years old, but your parents are older. I don't know how old they are, but they're all not older than you are. So you can prove by measuring some bones if your bones, in fact, grow as you get older. Okay? So let's try this experiment. I'm going to turn the page here. This is going to be the worksheet. It's here. Worksheet is WS here at your screen. Okay, over here you can see a lot better. WS2, this is the second worksheet. Measuring forearms. You're going to do this. You're going to measure the forearms of some people you know. Measure from elbow to wrist. Use the table to record your data. Now, I know we're not allowed to talk to people and to go outside. You're allowed to talk to people. What you're not allowed to do is socialize because we are keeping distance from others. But you do have people in your house, even if it's just your mom. Your mom is a person to measure and you're another candidate. So I will take you, maybe one of you has a sister, maybe your dad or your mom and your dad. So what is the forearm? This is my forearm. From my elbow to my wrist, I'm going to take, for example, in my case, I have a ruler here with me. And I'm going to measure from my elbow to my wrist. Now, if I do this correctly, I'm doing approximately because I'm looking at you, that's about 24 centimeters. My forearm. I'm 33 years old. You can count mine as your first one on the list. You put there Miss Maria Clara over here and one of the names. I am 33 years old and my forearm is 24 centimeters long. You can do that with your mother, with your father. If you have a little sister or a little brother, you can do that. If there's someone in your house that's living with you, ask their permission first, tell your parents about this experiment, and please try to collect some data. If it's just you want to measure yourself, only yourself, that's fine too. The idea is just to practice some of what we've been learning. So we're going to go back here. Let's think. Who do you think is going to have the bigger bones? So that's what we're going to do. And then in the next lesson, we're going to practice with some of these other pages, see what the other kids did. Okay? All right, kids, if you can, try to read this experiment, see how it worked out, and we'll talk about it in a later class. I will see you for another science class next Wednesday. Take care, you guys. Stay safe and keep healthy. Bye-bye.